Assalamu alaikum everybody. We're here at the British Muslim Heritage Centre Marquee and we're at the MEND event talking about Islamophobia, media and politic engagement as well. We've got some interviews lined up with Moazzam Begg, who was incarcerated in Guantanamo Bay and recently just got out of Belmarsh prison, and also with Sufyan Ismail, who is the CEO of the MEND organization. We'll be talking about many things such as, for example, what is the current scenarios with the government and its legislation, and also about Islamophobia in general. So stay tuned and enjoy these interviews. Just a few quick questions. We are at an event here by MEND about Islamophobia. How pertinent is it that we raise the profile of Islamophobia in the UK?
I think it's crucial at a time like this because this country and the Muslims in it have never faced such an onslaught as they do at present. We're seeing not just the Islamophobia by the ordinary people as pushed by the media, but a crucial part of it is the government and the government departments therein, which are quite evidently Islamophobic. And because people don't understand what Islamophobia is, they think it's just a construct, a statement. They don't think it's something that's real in terms of its effects, people being targeted in schools, people being beaten up on the streets, people being arrested and prosecuted maliciously by the government. This is all part of the concept of Islamophobia and its real effects. And for us what MEND's doing over here is to try to get Islamophobia recognized as a crime, just as hate crime is an extremely important and long overdue process.
Just another question as well. Looking at activists in general, Islamic activists, and there's a lot of smearing. For example, the incarceration of yourself and many others has created a fear amongst the community of activists. Do you feel this is legitimate, is justified, or is it just fear-mongering?
I think that if you're faced with vilification and alienation by people in power, there's two things you can do. You can either cover your head in the sand and pretend it'll go away. It won't. Or you can stand up to it. Now, the problem with standing up to anything is that you have to be prepared for sacrifice. That sacrifice may be in your wealth, in your time, in yourself. So whatever stance you take will be determined by how strong you are and how society sees you. And the worse they see you, the harder it's going to be to stand up, but stand up you must.
And very recently there's been a push by the government for the so-called snooping laws. I don't know if you've heard about these.
Yes.
And what do you, I mean, there's increased legislation, left, right, centre. What do you feel are the consequences to Muslims, general Muslims in the UK of this? And what can we do to kind of combat this, really?
We have to combat the narrative of the government which claims constantly that the threat, and this repeated use of the word threat, being critical and severe and imminent and so forth. We have to keep asking them, is the threat greater than it was at the height of the IRA when 3,000 people got killed in this country? Yet we never saw this sort of legislation across the board in the UK. Now Britain, it's true, it brought in internment, but that was found to be illegal because people challenged it during that period. Just in the same way, we have to challenge the various laws, over 9 or 10 of them be passed over the past 9 to 10 years about anti-terror legislation, which has been exclusively targeting Muslims. And so that's what's in front of us. We need to call for these laws not just to be reformed, they have to be repealed. And the only way that can happen is if we engage.
Jazakallah khair for your time. Thank you so much for that, brother Moazzam. Sufyan.
Walaikum salam.
How are you, UK?
Very well, how are you? You well?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very good.
Excellent.
Well, just talking about the event here, the MEND event, can you just tell us a bit about what you guys do and what you want to achieve, inshallah?
Well, MEND's primary focus and core objective is to tackle Islamophobia, to reduce it in all its forms. Whether it happens to be the woman on the street who's abused because of a hijab, whether it's media negativity, whether it's weak legislation, those are the core objectives of MEND. By and large, we tend to achieve them by working locally with grassroots Muslims in their communities. Today's been an absolutely brilliant kind of example of a great example of such an event where our Manchester working group has worked so hard to get so many people from so many backgrounds together, to whom we've really sold our vision, hopefully, and lots of them will now be involved with us moving forward.
Okay, so talking about people who weren't here at the event, what message do you have? How can they get involved and how can they be active?
And my message is simple. Racism was never just a black problem, nor was anti-Semitism ever just a Jewish problem. And Islamophobia should not be seen through the prism of it just being a Muslim problem. The way in which anybody can get involved is to connect onto our website, use any of our media monitoring toolkits, which you can download from the website. And if you want to be involved a lot more, then please ensure you join our working groups, which if you're here today, you'll get a date for shortly. And we have a proper game plan and strategy in each area.
Brilliant. And for certain people who say, you know, there are people already doing this, we can stay passive, we don't have to do much. What message do you have for those people particularly?
Very simple. All the results we showed today were generated on the back of lots of numbers of people being involved. If a few of us did what we showed today, we wouldn't have been able to exhibit the results we have. As lots of us have done a little, consequently we've been able to make major changes, like changes to law and so on and so forth.
Brilliant. And what inspired you to create this organisation? Just very quickly.
The awful state of Muslims across the UK, the way we're treated by the media, treated by the politicians, treated by lots of people out there, meant myself amongst lots of other people just couldn't sit still, and we just had to stop moving and make a difference.
Brilliant. Jazakallah khair for your time, Sufyan bhai. So, I hope you've enjoyed the interviews. We're all wrapped up and finished here at the BMHC in Manchester. So, we've been having some great talks from Moazzam Begg, from Sufyan Ismail, and many others about Islamophobia, the implications of it in the UK, and what we can do to get actively engaged. So, I hope you take away some lessons from this, and hopefully, inshallah, from this you can implement this within your own localities. That's everything from us at The Narrative. Jazakallah khair, telling it like it is, and tune in. Also, subscribe and like the video.